After adding nearly 700 pounds through the transfer portal, how heavy of a lift is USC's defensive line going to be for their opponents?
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I am your host, Mark Hulkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, whatever platform you're going to pick, you can download this podcast. It's going to be free, and I'm always going to appreciate your support. This episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Head to the 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from. And if you need one now, grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. Stock up today and stay energized. According to the USC spring roster that was just released, the Trojans have 6 guys who are already on their defensive side of the ball that weigh over 300 pounds. And they've got another handful of guys who are just a large meal or two away from adding that extra notch to their own belt, meaning they are like within 5, 6, 7 pounds of hitting that 300 pound threshold. I thought, and I think most will agree, USC's defense played well enough last year, especially up front. I mean, it's really hard to explain how much better the defense was in 2024 compared to 2023, because that last defense that USC had with Alex Grinch was just disgusting to watch. However, USC's defense last year showed mammoth improvement, right? They brought in the new defensive coordinator, new coaching staff. Just to put it in context, here's some numbers again. In 2023, USC's defense ranked 116th in total defense, 432, almost 433 yards per game, and they were 118th in scoring defense, allowing 34.4 points. Last year's scoring defense allowed barely over 24 points per contest. And if we really want to be technical, they were better than that. Because when you take away those multiple USC pick sixes that the quarterbacks were throwing, that number was actually close to 21 points per game. Now, I'm going to be fair, as there was a huge improvement. That doesn't mean they didn't make mistakes. They didn't execute poorly down the stretch. Now, some of that, though, again, keeping things balanced, was due to the lack of depth. They didn't have enough size up front, especially when you're going up against the run. And in the Big Ten Conference, offensive lines tend to be big, beefy, mass. They like to run the ball. And that's exactly why USC went to the transfer portal when the season ended. So now the Trojans have more size and better numbers on the inside, on the interior of the defensive line. That's going to have a bigger impact. It's going to help the Trojans be able to survive those late game situations. They're not going to be tired. They're going to have fresher legs, hopefully. And now, when you have, and we've talked about this before on the show, when you can create pressure up front in the middle, now your edge guys, they can, improve their numbers. USC didn't have the sack numbers they quite wanted last year. They weren't even close. But again, bigger, stronger, more numbers up front. So let's go over some of those guys. You got Keyshawn Silver, Jamal Jarrett. Those are the big names. Those are the two that came in through the transfer portal from Kentucky and Georgia, respectively. You put those two guys together, you got nearly 700 pounds. So Keyshawn Silver last year at Kentucky, he weighed 315. He's 6'4", and he's 331 pounds right now. Jamal from Georgia, 6'5", 349 pounds. Here's another reason why the defensive line is going to be better. Besides being deeper and being able to absorb an injury or a player quitting, cough, Alexander, cough. Besides Jaw and Keyshawn, the line, the guys who were returning added a whole bunch of weight. For instance, Devin Tompkins, who carved out a really nice role for himself last year. He was a big part of the rotation. He's 6'5". Last year, he played at 285 pounds. He's one of those guys. Give him a big meal. He's at 293 pounds right now. There's a good chance by the time fall camp kicks in, he could be pushing 300 bills. Remember defensive tackle Kobe Pepe? The guy who jumped in the transfer portal, decided, you know what, I'm going to finish what I started at USC. Well, all of his hard work, dedication, perseverance, it's paying off. He's gained 20 pounds since last year. So now you're nose tackle, 6'2", 335 pounds. Remember Jade Albasiri, that dude that looks like one of those guys first off the bus? He was a freshman last year. Again, another guy who just give him a huge meal, and that 294 pounds that he's weighing right now, he'll be at 300 pounds. Jakeem Stewart, new guy. He's listed at defensive end right now. We know that Antonlynn likes his defensive line to be versatile, so we'll see where he ends up. But as of right now, he's the biggest defensive end on the roster, 6'5", 290 pounds. Just to put that into context, give you some comparison. Anthony Lucas used to be that guy. He's still big. He's 6'5", 274. Cam Fountain. Now, he dropped 5 pounds. We'll call that baby fat, though. He's still 6'5", 260. He looks good. Elijah Newby, my everydayers. I told you he was, he's moving up to the defensive line. Well, he's the lightest guy up front right now, 6'3", 232 pounds. You got a couple of redshirt freshmen last year who are hopefully ready to contribute. Carlon Jones, Manu Bulabalabu. So Carlon, heading into spring camp, he's 6'3", 311 pounds. And then Ratumana, remember when he was being recruited? He had some site saying he was 250 pounds. Well, when he got to USC, he was 295. And now he's 6'3", 310 pounds. He's doing the work. Defensive end, Lorenzo Cowan, redshirt freshman. He gained 7 pounds so far during the offseason. He's up to 247. You can really see how his body's changed since he arrived. Again, I told you about Elijah Newby already. Here's some of the new guys who are showing up this year. Already arrived. You got Floyd Boucard. He's showing up to his first USC spring camp. 6'3", 311. The kid from Oklahoma, Cash Jacobson, 6'4", 298. You combine all that, the added depth, the work ethic, the talent level. I think many are anticipating those guys, along with Eric Henderson and Sean Nua, developing them. USC's defensive line is going to be better than it was actually last year. And last year was pretty good. They'll definitely be heavier. Nobody's going to doubt that. So one of my everydayers asked me to compare. I had mentioned that I was going to compare USC's defensive line to some of the other top programs in the Big Ten. And so someone said, hey, Mark, do me a favor, also add in Penn State. I apologize. I didn't take down who asked me the question. If you're an everydayer, you know who you are. Thank you so much. So let's start with Michigan. We know last year they had probably the best defensive line in the big conference. Them and Ohio State. Michigan right now, by my count, looks like they have 7 guys on the defensive line that work inside the 300-pound club. Ohio State, I think I counted just 4. They had a few guys who are all hovered in that 290 range, but just 4 over 3. Penn State, according to their website, only 3. And I went to the official Oregon website. For some reason, they're not listing height or weight for some reason. Maybe they don't know how to read a scale up there. I don't know. I'll give the weight, some of the weight gains on the offensive line in the next segment. But before I close out this segment, I wanted to go over some jersey numbers. These guys are changing jerseys. And it's happening up front, too, on the defensive line. But first, Cameron Fountain. He's changing from number 48. He'll wear jersey number 1 in 2025. You've got running back Brian Jackson. He's turning in his number 21. He doesn't want to be Lendale White. He'd rather be Stephen Carr. He's going to wear number 7. I think Carr was the last running back to wear that number. Devin Tompkins, mentioned his size gain. He's going to drop the 9 from the 98. He's just going to wear jersey number 8 this season. Remember Nick Perry? He represented that jersey number pretty well. Defensive end Braylon Shelby, he doesn't want to be number 34. He's going to wear number 10. If you play like Brian Cushing, it's all good. Linebacker Garrison Madden, number 41, is no longer wearing 41. He's going to wear number 29. Looks like cornerback Malachi Crawford, after 2 seasons of not being able to perform due to injuries, it doesn't look like he's on the roster right now. So good luck with whatever you have, whatever happens in your life. Good luck. We're rooting for you. And then a couple other guys, the newbies. You got Jaw Jarrett. He's going to wear number 0. He wore number 55 at Georgia. He's not getting that number right now. Keyshawn Silver wearing number 9. Thanos, you already know he's wearing number 4. So your defensive line, it's basically the integer 0 through number 10. You still have some guys still wearing in the 90s, like Kobe Pepe, 94. Cash Jacobson, I think he's got 98. But you see a trend there, right? All right, like I said, I'm going to go over some of the sizes on the offensive line in the next segment. But first, we got to go over this. We're all about the stats, right? Numbers don't lie. And when it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada Pro 4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team, plus their gear, wherever you need to go. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine. It's delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. And with room for up to 8 people, the Armada Pro X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the stadium, the Armada Pro X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights in the all-new Nissan Armada Pro X, Pro 4X, and you can learn more about that at nissanusa.com. Daylight savings time, it's here. It snuck up on us. And if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep like I do, 5-Hour Energy has your back. That little extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you also need a little boost to move through. Whether you're staying up late to watch the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Look, whether I'm at a football practice, which I'm going to be doing a lot of coming up, whether I'm traveling, which I do a lot of, 5-Hour Energy, it's an easy grab to go, and it keeps me feeling refreshed. Head on over to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including flavors like watermelon, peach mango. You like blue raspberry? They got it. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack, and that can deliver it right to your front door. And again, if you need one right now, grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stack up today and stay energized. So let's talk about the offense. They got bigger. They needed to get a little bigger in certain areas. Jaden Maaba, your quarterback, he's not done growing. We know he's 6'4". He's now up to 225 pounds. Okay. That means you'll be able to stand strong in the pocket, take a hit, and if you want to run, you can absorb some punishment now. You know, one of my favorites that I'm looking forward to seeing playing. Didn't get to see him last year. Tight end Walter Matthews. Again, last year he was dealing with some injury rehab. He wasn't quite ready by the time the bowl preparation rolled around. So they said, hey, you know what? Be ready for spring camp. Well, he was 250 pounds when he showed up to USC, 6'5", 250. Now he's 6'6", 272. And my everydayers, you heard me tell you this before. He's got a 39-inch vertical. That's an athlete. And I cannot wait to see USC unleash him on everything. Nobody knows who he is. USC fans do. Pardon me. As far as the offensive line, they've got some more mass. And we know that mass kicks ass. That's maybe one of the greatest quotes ever. Former USC offensive line coach Tim Davis from back in the day. Mass kicks ass. One of the guys they got out of the transfer portal, this side of the ball, he was a transfer from Syracuse. He's coming in to play center. His name is General Jayon Ray Reed. For Syracuse, he was 316 pounds. He's added 6 pounds since he got to USC. He's up to 322. His competition, Killian O'Connor, he's up to 292. The other guy they dragged out of the transfer portal, offensive lineman from Purdue, DJ Wingfield, 6'3", 310 pounds. I think the goal is going to be offensive tackle for this next young man. Offensive lineman Hayden Trader, he dropped 20 pounds. He's now down to 305. When I saw him last year for the first time, I was like, whoa, that dude looks huge. He looks like he's ready to play. I think he dealt with an injury last year, so he wasn't able to. So when you look at him, all right, you can see offensive guard. Now, when you're 6'6", 305, you're a tackle. You're not an interior lineman anymore. Remember offensive lineman Makai Sena from Texas? Well, he's added some weight. He showed up at 6'4", 270. He's now 6'4", 300 pounds. 30 pounds. Let me say it again. 30 pounds. That's dedication. Micah Banuelos. Yep. He's up to 6'2", 315. Check out this big boy. Every now and then someone will say, Mark, what about Erwin Taomi? He's still a project, but you like his size. He's 6'4", 357. I don't know if he's going to play tackle. I think they're grooming him to play the interior offensive line. Last year's freshman, Willie Washer. Well, this year's freshman, excuse me. 6'2", 302. And here are the other guys. Let me just do a rundown on the offensive line. These are as they are listed on USC's 2025 spring roster. Freshman Aaron Dunn, 6'8", 291. Alex Payne, 6'5", 292. Think they'll be 300 pounds by the time they get to their second spring camp? I do. Elijah Page, 6'7", 320. Tobias Raymond, 6'6", 315. Justin Taonu, who is really opening eyes, 6'6", 310. You watched him play in the bowl game. Didn't look too bad, did he? Remember Alani Noah, your starting right guard? Of course you do. 6'3", 335. And then Elijah Vicona, the big dude, the big man from Santa Margarita Catholic. 6'8", 362 pounds. One thing that stood out when I was looking at some of the rosters, I was comparing USC's to those aforementioned schools, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. I would tell you Oregon, but they don't want to. Their guys are too special. You're not going to list their numbers. Anyway, programs are tending to be bigger. They want all that mass on the offensive side of the ball, offensive line, less so on the defensive line. USC has both. Now they just have to use it. Use it the right way. So we know USC has the size. They made a concerted effort. It started last year. Benny Wiley was told, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. He got the message. We are no longer using the small defensive line up front system that Alex Grinch preferred. You're playing in the big conference. So you're big up front And when you're big up front on the defensive line, it's because you need to be big up front on the offensive line because they like to run the ball in the big conference. USC was able to run the ball last year effectively. You had Woody Marks with 1,000 yards. No reason one of USC's running backs can't duplicate that. And there's really no reason why that USC running back room by committee can't be somewhere between 1,700 and 2,000 yards. I really, really believe that. And I don't think that would make, I don't think the passing game has to suffer. I don't think you have to subjugate it to get there. You just need more balance. And if you have the lead late in the games, use your running game to build up those numbers, pad those stats. Put the game away. I know all of you are enjoying the NCAA basketball tournament. So if you need to get your updates and check out the brackets, how they're working out.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the bracket breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Yeah, you'd be dumb not to go check those guys out. You'd be as stupid as Kirby Smart. It's my Friday rant. You know, sometimes people say really dumb things. I do it all the time. Just how stupid is Kirby Smart? We know his players aren't really savvy when it comes to driving. A couple more incidents in literally in one 24-hour period. They had one player arrested for driving over 100 miles per hour, or at least cited. I don't know if he was actually arrested. And then they had another one who decided, you know what? I'm going fast. I don't know how to park. Let me just park my car on someone's front lawn as I crash into their house. Yeah. I get it. Look, Kirby Smart is a good defensive football mind, but Smart is stupid when it comes to selling Georgia to California recruits. True story. Apparently, he told some California kids who were visiting over the past weekend, or recently at least, quote, "I know you're out there from that soft-ass state. Here we will run through your..." We know how we use the F word around here. We use fluid. He was using it in a different context. "I know you're out there from that soft-ass state. Here we will run through your effing face. We don't run out of bounds. There's a school out there that talks a bunch of junk about us. We will run through their effing face." End quote. I'm wondering if wide receiver Vance Spafford from Mission Viejo, if he was one of those guys on a visit. Is that what he wanted to hear from Kirby Smart? I know he's committed to Georgia right now. Right now. Wink, wink. And then, I don't know, maybe Coach Hypocrite, maybe he forgot about Zachariah Branch. You know, the guy he just signed out of in the transfer portal from USC. Unless Zachariah was literally instructed to fair catch all those punts that we watched last season, and we know he wasn't, I think Kirby should probably choose his words more wisely. Think about it a little better. I mean, Mekhi Lemon figured it out when he took over the punt return job. USC, this is a stat that someone from the WeRSC.com's message board put up. I guess USC's defense forced 49 punts last year. Zachariah only returned 13 of them. That's it. Like I said, Mekhi Lemon, they said, see what you can do. They inserted him and it's like, whoa, that's what you do when you got 10 yards to make a decision? I don't think Kirby is too happy with the way USC has been recruiting in his backyard. Obviously, he's lashing out. I mean, last year, Cameron Fountain, Walter Matthews. So far this year, Well, in the 2026 recruiting class, you got Xavier Griffin. USC's plucking guys. James Johnson with the 2025 class. I mean, think about this. This is who USC was able to bring in when they were going, 8-5 and 7-6. Who knows what happens if USC's NIL was actually in order? Remember last year at this time, USC's recruiting class, I think they got as high as number 3 in the country. They probably don't keep any of those guys, but still, if you have some money, you might be able to keep them looking your direction. I think what has Kirby Smart's bowl cut hair standing up, he knows, he understands that USC has its NIL machine working. And if USC wins on the field, like it looks like they're about ready to bust through that close game scenario, Kirby's job out west recruiting just got tougher. Meanwhile, USC's recruiting in the state of Georgia is going to just get easier. I really do get trying to, I understand trying to fire up the locals, your natives, but what the hell, man? Why would you say something like that? Telling the California kids that they're soft during a visit? That tells me he's losing a grip on his recruiting advantages. And we know USC has some built-in recruiting advantages, just natural. Georgia can compete with talent in their state, but they don't have the networking. They don't have the business advantages, the marketing advantages that you can do in LA and Hollywood. And we know when California is pumping out good recruits, you can win championships. So USC is in a good position right now, and I think Kirby is feeling it. He doesn't like it. The last thing he wants to see is USC doing what USC did to the Southeast Conference back when Pete Carroll was running roughshod all over him. And it kind of started last year, right? USC went 2-0 against the Southeastern Conference. They beat LSU. They beat Texas A&M. Who knows? Maybe history is about to repeat itself. All right. Kirby, shut your mouth. Don't talk smack about California. We're not soft. We might be, laid back, relaxed, chill. Punch us in the mouth. See what happens. LSU thought they were going to get in a fist fight. They got knocked out. Keep talking. We'll see you soon enough. Playoffs. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it happens this year. I will be back with another 5 episodes next week. Starting next week, spring practice. Yeah, pretty excited to get to do those practice reports, notes, and observations. Love it. And I'll be bringing it all to you here on the Locked On USC channel, part of the Locked On Network. Don't forget, when you're done making Locked On USC your first listen every single day, go check out Locked On College Basketball. In the middle of the big dance, they're gonna get you through the brackets, help you out, keep you updated what's going on. And then when you're done with the Locked On Network, get on over there to wersc.com. We have that $1 subscription special running. Taking advantage of it now. All right. Until then, everyone, you know what to do.